think the most intense feeling is the fact that I know I will survive if I do nothing. At least I still have to eat and to drink water. But before my gene therapy, stopping my medication would mean that I would suffer a lot and maybe eventually die. So the dependency on medication has stopped completely, and that's a total relief and feeling of freedom. Besides that, I don't have any day-to-day worries about taking medication or preparing for holidays or stuff like that. So very practical as well. Yeah. So it's out of my mind. I can forget that I have hemophilia. It was actually the moment that my doctor said that we were going to change medication anyhow. So going from normal half-life products to extended half-life products. And changing product always gave me stress. So this gave me an extra push to think about an alternative. And my physician said, well, the best alternative at this point in time is gene therapy. But it took some time to make the decision. It took me about 6 months to get there. I went through different phases there, and I think any hemophilia patient can relate to that. So there were periods where I used more or less on-demand therapy, and that went not so well. I had a lot of bleeds in my upper legs and my renal bleeds and cervical spine bleeds. But when I was compliant to prophylactic therapy, then those periods were quite stable. Yes, but still I had bleeds, and on average 5 bleeds a year, maybe 10. I tried to keep my expectations as low as possible. I tried to imagine myself that I would be happy with a couple of percentages of factor 9 rise, so up to 5 or 10% maybe. I hoped for 50, but I tried to keep my expectations as low as possible. Yeah, and on the other hand, I just went for it. So I thought, well, we'll see. We'll see it when we get there, whether I will need any prednisone treatment or I will have any side effects. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Well, I'd hoped for having less bleeds, and that exceeded my expectations because within 10 days after the gene therapy, I slipped on a concrete floor. Must have been a floor like this, and I fell on my left hip, full force with my whole body weight, and I experienced no bleed at all in the days thereafter, and that was unique. It was impossible for me. Yeah, I went back and forth to my physician and to friends and family, actually, to talk about the possible outcome, to talk about the risks. My father was a big party here. He was very important to me, also being a child physician, and knowing me for the whole of my life and being part of my treatment at home. Yeah, that was gathering information, thinking about it, talking about it, and then gathering new information, trying to answer questions, and also trying to live with the unknown, because certain things will stay unknown because you don't have all the information yet. Well, for instance, that my factor levels now are rising. I didn't expect that. I expected that they would diminish over time, but that's not the case. So yeah, that's a surprise. It was just another boring day in the hospital, really uneventful, and maybe a bit exciting, but I do believe that the team around me was more excited than I was. They were more anxious about side effects and more anxious about the therapy, which was totally new. But I was just in a hospital. I had all the confidence in the team, and I confided in the treatment itself. So. Well, the follow-up was quite intense in the beginning, so several times a week. But since I live very close by, 20-minute drive from the hospital, And the team was very flexible. I must say that helped a lot. So I could plan it ahead of my work or after my work at the end of the day. And it was never any trouble for me. I think they have been, well, more than true. So I'm amazed about what it brought me, and I enjoy, well, when I think of it, and I don't think of it all the time anymore, and that's profit as well every day. But when I think of it, it feels like really a privilege, and I try to enjoy it fully. Don't focus on my story, but try to really gather your own information. Take all the fears you have or the doubts you have serious and talk about them with your physician and with your family, and try to gather information that is relevant and true. Don't trust the internet, trust the professionals around you. I'm very thankful to all the people that made this possible. And also, it gives me great confidence in myself that I took the decision and it turned out for the better.